So much to talk about today, just so much to talk about. Obviously, I'd like to talk about what's going on today in the news. I got to be careful about how I talk. I got to be careful. It's funny, you got to be careful about everything and anything. Names, any kind of medical, anything. I guess the only thing that's completely 100% legal is for guys to show videos of how to put on makeup and wax their eyebrows. But until I get to that point, I'm not going to worry about that. So what else I want to talk about? I want to talk about something I've been taking that actually accelerates cartilage and healing speeds. It accelerates the rate at which it heals. That the doctors, you only get 1 or 2 doctors that'll prescribe it. It's a legal drug, but they want to keep it a secret from you. So let's get on with it. It's about 20 to 7. I should be at work. I don't know, 7:15. So I'm getting an early start today. I had I stopped actually. I used to have a big freaking 24-ounce mug of 6-shot latte, which held about, I don't know, about a shot glass. I wouldn't say a shot glass, about half a shot glass of sugar in it to sweeten it up. I actually been slowing down on those, not to cut back on the coffee, God forbid me. What do you think I am, a savage? It was to basically cut down on the sugar, and I don't like lattes that are not sweet. Not because I can drink plain black coffee, but to drink hot milk with no sweetener, it just kind of turns my stomach a little bit. And besides, I'm not a savage. Anyway, I'll get to the pain thing in just a few. So you know those things that you pull the trigger and a projectile shoots out? Again, I'm talking in code. Well, the one that looks like the military uses, you know what I'm talking about, the military style thingy. You know, the thingy that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. That's another thing you can't mention. You can't mention that 3-letter word, otherwise your videos will get demonetized. Well, that freaking shooting in Nashville. You know, I feel for the parents. I feel for the family members. I feel for the 6 people who died are in God's hands now, so they're probably in a better place in God's hands. But I do feel for what has happened, and so putting that aside, I think it's a few days have passed now. I think it's appropriate that I can make a political comment about it. I don't believe in doing it right on that day. Immediately, the news, though, doesn't feel they don't feel the same way you and I felt. You know, 20 minutes after, they got all the talk shows geared up for, you know, while we need to make those thingies illegal, and it's not due to the medicines that they might be on, the prescriptions, the antidepressants and whatnot they might be on. It's not due to that. Matter of fact, they don't even want to talk about that for fear of losing Democrat funding from those pharmaceutical companies. No, we protect those. We don't even mention it in the news, you know? So it must be something else. It must be that piece of metal, that military style piece of metal. That's what's causing all these mass shootings. Let me tell you something. I have one of those military pieces of metal, as many of you have. If it is that military-style piece of metal's fault, why haven't we all gone out? Why haven't we all been infected by it to go out and do such an heinous crime? Why haven't? If it is indeed that military style piece of equipment, I can't even speak this morning, then we should all be doing it, right? Well, if we're not, why is it? Is it the military style piece of weapon? Or is it actually individuals and their faults for doing it? Just food for thought, because if it is, we all should be doing. I'm not saying we should go out and do it. I'm not saying that. But in theory, we should all be contaminated by that disease that metal has or something, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We should all be doing it if it's the evil metal thing. You know, I'm pulling a trigger. End of subject. I don't want to talk anymore about it. Oh, by the way, what I said I was cutting down on the lattes due to the sugar, I just been doing. So what I do is I get a coffee cup. It's actually a very small cup. It's actually a large espresso cup. I'm able to fit like 4 shots of espresso in there, and I do. And I just drink it straight. So I still get my caffeine, but I'm just trying to cut down on the sugar. You know, so. What else I want to talk about? Well, what's going on with, I'll call him the Orange Man, because we can't mention his name. Our past and former president. Was indicted, in case you didn't know. I would be very surprised if you didn't know it. And all I wanted to say about that is, look at what they're doing. And there is protections in place. Constitution, Bill of Rights. There's protections in place to protect us from what is going on right now. Look what's happening with those protections in place. Look what's happening to our former president with those protections in place. And what they are doing to him. He's a billionaire. If they can do it to him with the protections in place, imagine what they can do to you and I, who maybe only earn $70,000 to $100,000 a year. Imagine what they can do to the average person, is what I'm trying to say. Now, take it a step further. If the only thing that's basically holding them back from making you and I a slave, when I say slave, I'm talking about an 80% tax rate. Right now we pay about a 50% tax rate. When you calculate all your freaking taxes, all of them, you're paying about a 50. I heard a couple of news outlets mention it's right around 56% tax rate. Licensing, you know, you go and you want to get a permit to do an add-on. That's actually a tax. A permit, I permit you. That's the government. I permit you. A license, I permit you to do this. Those are taxes. And imagine what they would do without those protections, I guess is what I wanted to say. They would go to these extremes. Can you imagine how much further? That's really what I wanted to say. How much further they would go without these protections in place? What I'm seeing right now, a lot of you don't know this. I'm Jewish. And I know there's a lot of anti-Jews out there. I don't care, I'm proud. I'm Jewish. So I know very well about Nazi Germany. I'm also very familiar with how it was slow crept into their society, into their psyche, into their beliefs of what is right and wrong. And what I'm seeing now happen is like some of the beginning stages of what happened in Nazi Germany. You prosecute your enemies. That's number one. Okay, that is number one. In this country, it is illegal to pick a person and investigate them in search of a crime. You're investigating their life in search of a crime. It is illegal in this country. You have to have a crime first and then investigate that crime. That's when I say investigating that crime, to ensure that the person that you suspect did it is what I mean. There has to be a crime first before you investigate. You can't investigate in a person in search of a crime. And that's what is going on right now. So, enough of that. I want to talk about this medication. It's not even a medication. It's not a steroid. It's a peptide that I've had 2 doctors say they don't want to prescribe it to me yet. Our pharmacies here have it. It's a legal drug, but they want you coming back. It's funny, my shoulder doctor, the guy who did the surgery, I had a follow-up surgical appointment. No problem, I can understand that. Wants to make sure the sutures are healing right. No red puffiness, no pus, no fucking green, excuse my language, no green men oozing out of the incisions. I can understand that. But then he wanted a 30-day follow-up from the post-op. I sat down in the chair. He says, "How you feeling?" I said, "Pretty good." He said, and it really was this quick. I said, "I feel pretty good." He goes, "I want you to start physical therapy." And he says, "Have a good day." I was in there no more than, once the doctor walked into the room, you know how they get you in the room and you're freaking in doctor jail until he goes around all the patients. So once he walked in the room, I was in that room no more than 4 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. And I got a bill for like $90 for him to tell me, ask me, "How are you feeling? I want you to start physical therapy." So I asked him at the time, "Can you prescribe me peptides?" I'm going to get into the specific peptide because there's so many. And he said, no. And then without blinking an eye, "So let's make a 30-day follow-up." I looked at him. I didn't say nothing in case, because you don't want to burn bridges in case you need them again. He goes, "Stop by the front desk on your way out the door and make that appointment." I walked right by the front desk, down to my car, and drove away. Unbelievable. Rather have you keep coming back is my point. I'm going to be turning and I'm going to head directly into the sun. It's going to make a shadow on my face. That's the sun. The lighting, sorry about that. Instead of having something cure you faster, heal you faster, they'd rather have you keep coming back. The same thing with heartburns. If you have acid reflux, there's actually a surgical procedure, an outpatient surgical procedure. Outpatient means you're in and out the same day, within hours. That actually cures it. I call it the sphincter. I don't know if that's the right terminology. That leads down into your lower GI, or it goes into the upper GI. That sphincter, that's right there. All they need to do is repair that. You won't have acid leakage when you go to sleep at night. Well, they won't repair that on me. No, they rather sell me a lifelong prescription to acid prescription pills. Prescription acid reflux pills, whatever, Prilosec and what other name brands that they got. So my point is this, because I'm going off on a tangent. I made a video like I am now, and I was in the sling, I had one person contact me and mention something called peptides. In specific, it was BPC157. He notified me, by the way, I'm going to be doing an interview with him, and we'll be talking more about this in depth, about this peptide. Again, there's so many of them. Different peptides target different things. This one actually targets muscle, cartilage, ligament, and bone. So you have another ailment other than that, it's something, you got to take something different. For this, it basically accelerates the healing time of muscle, cartilage, ligaments, and bone. I bring up bone for a specific reason, because my doctor says for this cartilage to completely heal to the bone is 1 year. I cannot work out my upper body with weights. He says you're looking at about 9 months, actually. And when I do finally pick up the weights, it's going to be physical therapy weight, meaning 5 and 10 pounds, or band working out. But he says after about a year, you should be free to go. A year? So this peptides, it takes about 1/5 of the time off. So if you have a, if you have a year, you can basically subtract 2 or 3 months, and you should be healed, which is fine. And what this does is, I'm sitting here at an intersection, everybody's looking at everybody like they're drunk. What it's going to do is accelerate the cartilage adhering to the bone. What they say about cartilage re-adhering to bone, they say for, like when my rotator cuff tore, and when they did the surgery, they reattached certain muscles back to the bone with sutures. Now it's basically a graft is what you're doing. You're taking two foreign objects and you're putting them together and you're forcing them to grow together. And yes, they are foreign. It'd be regardless of whether we were born with cartilage already pre-stuck to the bone. They're just two different types of materials. So my doctor says normally for cartilage to start to stick to the bone, adhere to the bone, it's about 2 months after surgery. Start to heal to the bone, it's 2 months. To be 75% stuck to the bone, healed to the bone, grown to the bone, I don't know how many different words I can use, it's about 7 to 8 months. A year for it to be about 100% adhered, stuck, grown back to the bone. This stuff will accelerate that. Why am I bringing this up? This peptide BPC175 is for your benefit. You can get it online. It is a legal peptide. It's legal. It is not a steroid. It is something you could buy legally online. Yes, in a pharmacy, you need a prescription. But there is places online you can buy it without a prescription. My doctors are not going to prescribe it to me, so I'm going to take the next easiest route. Just want to let you know, look into a peptide called BPC175 if you have pain. I gotta go. I gots to go.